Assalamu alaikum, distinguished guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen. As you probably know, that I was born in Azamgarh. Anybody from Azamgarh here? Yeah. So what a remarkable journey for a man like Frank Islam, born as a Shah Fakhrul Islam, from a dusty street of Kauragani, a small village where I will be going there to inaugurate Frank and Debbie, my wife is Debbie, health clinic there as well. And I'm also an Alligerian, and there's a lot of Alligerian here. Can you guys stand up? What's best in me, I owe it to Aligarh Muslim University. Aligarh remains a beacon of hope, aspirations, and dream. I'm delighted to be here today, and I was introduced by Shahid Siddiqui. Where is he? At the Islamic Center, and I was very pleased to see him here. He was the man who introduced me many, many years ago to Islamic Center. Islamic Center, I hope the light of the learning from the Islamic Center penetrate deep into the darkness and light of the whole world. So, Mr. Sirajuddin Qureshi, General Shah, distinguished guests, friends, and ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for that kind introduction. And thank you for your warm welcome, and thank you for your hospitality. It is privilege and honor for me to speak together at the Islamic Center. My last name is Islam. You probably think I'm doubly blessed or doubly cursed, but I think I'm doubly blessed. And this name, and this center recognizes my last name, Islam. I also want to thank General Hasnain for his leadership, Dr. Hasnain for his leadership and enlightening us about the Jamia Hamdard, which I did not know much about it. And thank you for all you do for our community and for our country. Thank you for your leadership. You make a difference. And my dear friend, General Shah, thank you, General Shah, for joining us this evening. You are inspiration to all of us. You have created the conditions, culture, and circumstances for all of us to excel, and thank you for that, what you have done. Before I get to the heart of the matter, let me say a few words about Sirajuddin Qureshi. I admire and appreciate his leadership, his passion, his values, his vision, and his commitment to the India Islamic Center. He provides the example, sets the standard. His inspiration to all of us. We need to stand shoulder to shoulder with him for the vision we share and the values that we cherish and nourish. He's doing the God's work, and let's give him a big round of applause. It is wonderful to be here with all of you as we link by common goals, common cause, and common commitment, and bonded by shared history, shared heritage, and shared background. The lot that unite us, the little that divide us. Our bonds are stronger than the differences that too often drive us apart. The title of my speech is very much consistent with the vision, mission, goals, and objectives of the Islamic Center. As a result, I titled my talk, Empowering Indian Muslims Through Education and the Pivot Points for Building Better India. In it, I will highlight my own experience, what education has meant and done for me. I'll share my thoughts on why the education of Muslims in India is so critical for their future and the future of India. Provide some ideas regarding the education and empowerment process, provide the pivotal points for building a better India. There's no topic on which I'm more passionate about than educational empowerment, especially for Muslims and minorities and others who come from socio-economically disadvantaged circumstances. Education is a powerful equalizer. Education enriches and empowers all of us. Education is a gift that keeps on giving. and demands that we give back in return. The only way to move forward out of poverty is to begin with education. It is an opportunity creator and a bridge to the future. Education empowers the mind and uplifts the soul. Education gives self-confidence, dignity, and self-esteem. Education, employment, and inclusive opportunity can help prevent conflict and promote lasting peace. Education is the best investment we can make to create the next generation of leaders, entrepreneurs, scientists, engineers, and problem solvers. Education frees the human mind from the shackles of ignorance. As President Obama said many times, education will be the currency of the 21st century. Education can create high aspirations, and high aspiration propel individuals and moves nation forward. Education provided me with the essential foundation for attaining and achieving the American dream. And my story can only happen in America because it's America's inclusiveness and openness that provided me the ladders of opportunity to succeed. These are the strengths and values and qualities of America that all of us can proudly and truly embrace. When I talk about education, I'm not speaking about what goes on in the classroom, although that is a big part of learning and development. I'm also talking about education in the broadest sense. My own educational empowerment began here in India and continued after I moved to the United States of America. Growing up in India had an enormous impact and influence on the person that I am today. It is here that I learned lessons from this country, from my faith, Islam, my family, and Aligarh Muslim University. All of those forces shaped and influenced me during my formative year. Let me tell you a little bit about that. My country, I love India. I love this country because I was born here and because of its art, history, music, culture, and rituals. But most of all, I love India because it stands as an international beacon of hope, democracy, diversity, and the peacemaking. My faith, I treasure my faith. My faith firmly believes in equality, dignity, tolerance, respect for other faith. My family, I grew up in a middle-class religious Muslim family. My parents taught me to treat the people in the way that you want to be treated, give dignity and respect to others, work hard and aim high, and do what you can to serve your community. In the neighborhood where I grew up, in Azamgarh, all of us from different backgrounds and different faiths learned to work side by side because we were bound together in the service of others. My university, last but not the least, of course, is Aligarh Muslim University. My days at Aligarh Muslim University had a profound effect on me. I still remember riding my bike from VM Hall to all over the campus. It was an exciting part of my life, and memory remains endearing. Aligarh Muslim University provided me with the basic building block to become a successful entrepreneur, to assume serious responsibilities, and most importantly, to become a passionate leader. Aligarh Muslim University provided me with an excellent education. Most importantly, it instilled and infused the core values that have served me in good stead throughout my adult life. And they include a love for education, eternal optimism about your hopes and dreams, being collegial and candid towards all, keeping steadfast to your standard of excellence, living in peace and harmony by being tolerant and respectful toward the dignity of each person. These values continues to be my guiding principles. I want to talk about the need for educational empowerment for the Indian Muslims. As those of you in this audience know, there are many Muslims here in India who have not been nearly as blessed educationally as I am. I'm certain you know the statistics, as Dr. Hassan pointed out, probably better than I do. Nevertheless, I believe it is important to review some of the facts and background to ensure a shared understanding of why the educational empowerment of Muslims remains such a critical need today. Most of you are familiar with this soccer, maybe I didn't pronounce it correctly, Soccer Committee reports of 2006. SACHER. Okay, well, being an American, I have a hard time pronouncing the names, which addressed the development deficit for minorities in many areas and resulted in the creation of all across the board program for the development of minorities. The serious situation for the Indian Muslims reminds us how entrenched poverty in the Indian Muslim community has become. The situation for many Muslim youth is desperate and heartbreaking. They share a city, but not a community. They share a common dwelling, but not in a common effort. They're smothered by the blanket of history and circumstances. It is a lack of education that leads to lack of opportunity, that in turn breeds violence and fuel frustrations and desperations. When I read this study finding, I was disappointed but not despairing. That was so for a number of reasons. First, I believe the problem has been appropriately framed and attention is being devoted to it. Second, I can see that some progress is being made overall. Third, I know the Modi administration is working on a national education policy to address the current defect and deficiencies to India's educational system. Fourth, I'm personally aware of the initiatives being undertaken by groups here in India and from other parts of the world to strengthen the educational system for Muslims and the other minorities. All of us need to focus like a laser beam in ensuring appropriate educational opportunity that brings Indian Muslim into the social and economic mainstream. The Indian Muslim must be active participant in shaping the future of India's economic growth. They must be equal partner in India's shared prosperity. In my mind, India has come miles over the past decade in terms of the educational empowerment of Muslims, but we have miles to go before we go to sleep, as Robert Frost has said many times. I have 4 ideas and recommendations to share regarding their journey of many miles, and they include: ensure a strong focus on literacy development in the rural areas and for females, develop technical and entrepreneurial skills, place an increased emphasis on higher education. Number 4, make connections and build coalition both here in India and the Muslims around the world. I see the ambassador from Indonesia. We need to work with you to make sure the Muslims are empowered and they are successful. Let me talk about the first point, ensuring the strong emphasis on the literacy development in the rural areas and for females. As I look at the educational empowerment landscape of India today, I still see those ignored islands, the rural areas and the females. The hope and empowerment must be brought to them if India is to achieve its full power and potential and become a leader in the world community. I firmly believe and continue to have a lifelong passion and commitment to improving girls' access to education. We should make sure their voices are heard and they're not ignored. Their participation is pivotal for the future of individual family, and for India, education prepares the girls to become a change agent. Too many girls are trapped in poverty because of lack of education. With her own education, girls who become women and a mother can educate and equip her children to escape that trap. Develop the technical and entrepreneurial skills. Around the world, we are finding that technological advances are occurring so rapidly that basic education and literacy in and of itself is insufficient for success in life. This is true in India as well as other countries in the world. To be fully empowered, Indian Muslims must have the technical and entrepreneurial skills to compete and also to create their own opportunities in the 21st century. The number third point, place and increase emphasis on higher education. Higher education is the vehicle that brings citizens into the social and economic mainstream. Education in those areas provides avenues for participation in the 21st century, careers and competency and the capacity to contribute to lifting fellow Muslims out of poverty and deprivation. To put it another way, higher education is the bridge that we must cross in order to build bridges for others. Number 4, make connections and build coalitions here in India and with the Muslims around the world. As we have seen, the need for educational empowerment is great. The government cannot do it alone. No group can do it alone, but together we can. We need to reach out to the others who share our cause. If they're brought together, we'll be able to create the level and the type of educational empowerment that we need. So those are my ideas and recommendations. On my last visit to India, my wife Debbie and I dedicated a new school of management complex known as Frank and Debbie Islam Management Complex at Aligarh Muslim University. I told the attendees at the dedication of the management complex at Aligarh Muslim University, while the bricks and mortars are important, far more significant is who will be in it and what will go on in this setting. It will be a place for sharing of information and the imparting and development of knowledge. It will be a space where faculty and students can collaborate on innovative projects. It will be an educational empowerment zone. I say to all of you in this audience, let us work together to make all of India an educational empowerment zone. Let us come together and join hands to give these Muslims who need a hand up. For India, education delivers on the promise of the largest representative democracy in the world. Centered to that promise are equal opportunity and inclusive economic mobility. Education levels the playing field and make that promise a reality. I firmly believe that through our creeds, deeds, seeds, we can build a better India. But let me also say, if the Indian Muslims succeed, all of us will succeed, India will succeed, and the world will succeed. But we need to extend our hand, our hope, and help to those people. So let me say something about creeds, the faith, religion, moral code, and personal belief and values that guide our action. Deeds, the manner in which we actually live our lives and shape our environment. The seeds, the plantings and action that we take that impact the future generations and the fate of the humankind. I'll share my thoughts in each of these areas. Before I do so, let me state that I'm sharing not as an expert, but as a humble Muslim, Indian American businessman, and drawing upon my own personal and professional experience. I hope that'll be of some relevance to you. Our creeds. I stand before you as a Muslim with the last name is Islam, as I said earlier. Think about that. Depending on who is looking at it, given conditions around the world today, it might be said that I am either doubly blessed or doubly cursed. I feel strongly that I am doubly blessed. Being a Muslim have taught me many things, but the most important thing is that the whole purpose of religion is to provide justice and path to justice for all. According to Holy Quran, God asked, who will take care of all of my creation? The mountain said the task was too great. Even the angels declined to take on the challenge, but then man jumped up and said, we will take care of. So we made a contract with God to protect its creation. I have learned as a Muslim to believe in the unity of all creation and that everything and everyone is a reflection of God on earth. Because of that, I've also learned that these are the just people and that just people do just things. My faith keeps me calm and provides me with a sense of optimism that gives me peace. It is a joy for me to be with all of you at the Islamic Center who are tearing down the walls between various faiths rather than building them. You are indeed doing God's work, not the work of your God or work of my God, but the work of our God, and our God is the members of the same universal spiritual family. We people of different faiths, of different creeds, should be a communal peace here in India, and we can accomplish this by interfaith dialogue. I strongly believe interfaith dialogue as it brings people together and it increases the religious or cultural unity. The interfaith dialogue allows us to build bridges, to break down the barriers, and to promote dialogue with various faiths, and to promote as a shared sense of community. India has long succeeded because it is a diverse, inclusive, and tolerant. I firmly believe that inclusive and diverse society is a strength because it brings people together and it enriches a nation and ensures all people have equal chance to succeed. You need to step up and speak out, as General Shah said, by rejecting the voices that seek to divide us. And they also ask us to limit our human rights, religious right, minorities' right, and women's rights. Therefore, all of us need to continue to work together to build a fairer, a stronger, just, inclusive India. But we all need to stand together, and together we can help shape a better future for India. We need to keep fighting the good fight, and do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, and all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. I ask all of you to remember that the fundamental acceptance of equality of other religions by not looking at the heavens and to the God whom we worship, but by looking at the earth and the people and the family that we are. We need to strengthen the bond that binds us as a one family. They are not that unite us, they are those that divide us. Our bonds are stronger than the differences that too often drive us apart. Let me move from creeds to our seeds. Our best seeds plant the seeds for others in the future. We convene here at Islamic Center as the manifestation of a living testimony to the realization of Sarsiya's vision. Our creeds and our seeds lead to our deeds. Let me begin talking about our deeds by saying that we need to treat people in the way that you want to be treated, give dignity and respect to others, do what you can to serve your community. People from different backgrounds and different faiths need to work together side by side because they're bound together in the service of others. In closing, let me say that all of us will do well to remember that no religion, no race, no culture, no nation has a monopoly on wisdom or on human dignity. Wisdom belongs to all, but you need to work hard, aim high, get the right education, then you can achieve your dream. With that thought and spirit in mind, let us extend our hand, our hope, and our heart to those who are less fortunate, to those who are socially and economically disadvantaged, to those who are underprivileged, and to those who are voiceless and vulnerable. Let's make a commitment to making things better for them. Let us empower them with education and inclusive economic mobility. Let's help them through their darkest moment of their life. India cannot succeed if the Muslims are held back. When they move up the ladders of success and when they get ahead, they can change the landscape of India and the world. So please join me in this journey so that we can together change the face of India. One life, one family, and one village at a time. But we need to stand together, stay engaged, and we can together make a difference of our community. All of us can make a difference, and all of you should make a difference. Let's never forget the values that our community shares. The belief that with education and hard work and with sacrifice, we can give our children a better life. Let us dedicate ourselves to draw upon the values and spirit that always guided us and defined the greatness of our community. Finally, let me leave you with some thoughts on redoubling our effort to reject the hate and bigotry in all forms. We should embrace the richness of the religious diversity. We should rise above the angry partisanship and heal the wounds of division. So thank you for listening to me and for all that you're doing to make India and the world a better place.